Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube. This is actually my second time trying to record this voiceover. For whatever reason, the software just keeps like randomly like cutting, like it just stops. It's like, get cut mid-word, mid-sentence, whatever, and it doesn't do it like after, like it's not like it records for 4 minutes and then stops. No, it like did like 5 minutes, and then it was 7 minutes, and then it was like literally 30 seconds. So I don't know what to do. I've already restarted the software. Might have to restart the computer. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, we're doing another speed build. So because I can't call my houses anything other than farmhouses, this is Friendly Farmhouse. It is a 4-bed, 3.5 bath house with a nursery, a laundry room, a little like office nook, a 3-car garage. There's a pool in the back. Like I actually did something with the back for once. I never do anything with the backyards. And yeah, I did use the the 3-tile or single bay custom content garage. Just so like that's the only thing that I use that is custom content. But yeah, this is actually probably one of my favorite. My voice keeps like cracking. I only woke up like half an hour ago, so this is my morning voice. I actually quite like the exterior of this house. It's probably one of my favorite exteriors that I've done in a while. I don't love it, but you're always going to be your own like harshest critic. So I mean, there's that, but I don't mind it. I think I kind of like it. It is a predominantly white house. Like I used white siding, and then like there's like this white brick, like a whitish gray brick. And I really wanted to use, there's like, I don't know what it came with. It probably came with like one of the worlds, but there is a, it's not custom content, but you know what I mean? Like the store content, roof, like pattern that I really wanted to use. It was like a gray, I think it was a metal roof, and I don't typically use metal roofs, but I really liked how it looked. I liked the color of it. But I'm like, I don't want to use store content, because store content is such like a finicky thing. Like not everybody has the same store content. And so I didn't just want to put it in my game and have it replace it with like this color roof and have it look just stupid. So I ended up finding something else, but you'll actually see me when it comes time to that. When I'm not struggling with this roof, don't look at the roof from any angle but the front, okay? It looks ridiculous from any other way. Just saying. It looks ridiculous from the sides, from the back, but from the front it looks fine. So we'll just look at it from the front. But I'm actually, when I tried to figure out, when I had decided, I'm like, I'm not going to use store content. So I'm trying to figure out what I should use, and you actually might see my mouse like it's a wiggle over the screen. That's because I was frustrated, because I didn't like the way any of the others looked. So yeah. Let's see. I actually went on a rant in the last attempt at pre-recording, because I was talking about the fact that I didn't use stuff packs, and that I'd normally try not to use stuff packs in my speed builds because I have like the weirdest stuff packs. So I have high-end loft stuff and I have master suite stuff. And I only got high-end loft stuff because it came in like that pack with late night. So it came in like a bundle with the base game late night and high-end loft. And then I have master suite stuff, which was actually the last form of like Sims 3 expansion content. It wasn't expansion pack, but like extra content, DLC, I guess. That I got, and I got it for not Christmas, for Easter years ago, back when we still got, my brother and I would still get Easter gifts, and then it got me on a rant that I have like 4 copies of the Sims 3 base game, because at the time that I was getting stuff for The Sims 3 still, like when I was still getting like all the expansion packs and stuff, they were being bought as gifts, so for like Christmas or for Easter or stuff like that. Or my dad used to go on the road a lot, like he used to be on the road for his job when I was younger, and he would make like a special stop at Target or something, and like we were only just now getting a Target like where I live like this year, so it like Target's normally a special stop when we're out of town. And so my dad would go and get my brother like a Lego set, and he'd get my mom a book and be like, and what do you want? And I'm like, I want a Sims 3 pack. And my dad didn't understand that when he got University Life plus the Sims 3, like it was coming with the Sims 3 base game and the expansion pack. So I don't know how many copies of the Sims 3 base game because they would come in like these bundles. So I think I have like University Life plus base game, the late night high-end loft stuff bundle. What else came? I think I got like Into the Future plus maybe. Island Living, Island Life, no, Island, Isla Paradiso. What is that one called? Oh, Island Living is the Sims 4 one. Island Paradise, that's it, right? I don't know. I don't really call the Sims 3 packs by their like. I know pretty much all of them. Ambitions, Showtime, Late Night, Generations, Seasons. Did I say that? University Life, Into the Future. How many were there? And then yeah, like Island Paradise. Am I forgetting any? And like Supernatural. I don't play with Supernatural a lot. Don't come for me. Pets. I'm trying to think of all the logos. World Adventures. I think that's it. Maybe that's kind of embarrassing though that like I play mostly Sims 3 and I can't even remember all the expansion packs. But yeah, so I had, just since we're on the backyard at the moment, so I have that little like, it's the Island Paradise garage door, so it's like see-through, and I have that to kind of be almost like a party garage kind of thing, even though like I put a car park right in front of that. So it's not like there's actually any like partying going on within the garage. I don't know. I kind of liked the look of it. I thought it looked sharp, looked snazzy, and it was something I could do. So I committed to it look wise, but not so much actually like functioning as such. There isn't like a bar in the garage or anything like that. Also, I place these rocks everywhere, okay? So we're going to take a good minute here to place all of these rocks. And then I'm going to come back later, and I'm going to put lights underneath all of them. Well, not all of them. Just the ones that are on the driveway. I don't put them under the landscaping rocks, but there's a lot of rocks. And I think I like how it looks, but that's a bad line. Those are not straight. And then I saw that, I'm like, oh, they're not lined up very well either with each other, so I had to fix that a little bit. I guess I could talk about Hudson. I don't really want to say his name because he's at the moment sleeping on my bed behind me, and I'm waiting for his meds to kick in. So I don't really remember exactly what was going on last time I did a Hudson update. I don't know. We've had some like developments. That sounds bad. It's not supposed to sound bad. So this is my foster dog we're talking about. And if you don't know, I brought home a dog on Christmas, or the day before Christmas, or 2 days before, still technically 2 days before. I brought him home on the 23rd. And the thing is, I had this dog for Christmas last year because the shelter that I volunteer at and like where my foster dogs come from, they do something called holiday breakout, and so they foster out all of their dogs, or they try to. But this year they actually weren't planning on doing that because last year we had like a good majority of our dogs still in the shelter. So we were just like, we're not going to do that to them. So I wasn't actually planning on having a Christmas foster this year. And then one morning I get a text message like a couple of days before Christmas, and they're like, hey, so Hudson is back, because he'd been adopted in November. They're like, he's back, and we don't suppose you would want to take him for Christmas again. So I was like, absolutely. I will definitely take him. I love this dog so much. So brought him home. He's still here. He has separation anxiety, confinement anxiety, and isolation distress. So basically, the man loses his mind if he is left alone. And has been the reason why he has been returned every time. He was initially adopted. I don't know if he's actually one of our puppies, like if he came from the shelter initially. But either way, he was initially adopted during the pandemonium, and so he was used to his owners always being home. And when the world started opening back up again and they had to go back to work, he was left home alone and didn't know what to do about that. And so he ended up getting returned, or like surrendered. And here we are. He's been adopted 4 times. Each time the adopters have been warned, hey, just so you know, this dog has some pretty severe separation anxiety. And he always gets returned for separation anxiety. And it's just kind of like one of those things like, you were told. And that's not fair to him, but he keeps getting brought back. So either like commit to it or don't is kind of how like we see it. Like, I guess to a point I understand, okay, it just doesn't work. But at the same time, like when you're given like a warning that like, hey, this dog has some problems and he keeps getting returned for said problem, like it's just not fair to him to constantly be brought back. I hate that for him. And that's one of the reasons why we haven't taken him back, is because my dad's like, I refuse to send him back if he's just going to sit in the shelter for another year. Like just sit in his kennel. My dog is howling downstairs. A bunch of my dogs are howling downstairs. But we're trying to work with him on his anxiety, and we started to believe that it wasn't so much separation, it was just confinement. And I think his confinement anxiety is actually made worse, like is actually like a little worse than his separation anxiety, because it's not like I walk out of the room and he just loses his mind. It's only really when you like leave the house, and especially if you try and lock him in a room. He's reacted the worst when he has been locked out of a room or locked out of certain areas, is when he acts out the most. So I didn't want to crate train him. We were really trying to avoid crate training, because I knew that he'd had so many bad experiences in crates, and his kennel behavior is so much different than his like out of kennel behavior, and he's just like such a sweet dog. But it was getting to the point that he was tearing up so much stuff that we were like, he wasn't tearing things up. He was getting stuff out. He wasn't destructive. He's chaotic. is how I keep saying or describing him. He's not destructive, he's just chaotic. Because when we first brought him home and then we're leaving him out, he would get into like a couple drawers in the kitchen, and he would just like drag the stuff out. He didn't actually eat any of it or tear any of it up. He would just drag it all out. Well, the more times he was left alone, the more stuff, the more cabinets were gotten into, and it got to the point he was literally getting into every drawer and cabinet in the kitchen, and then he started going into other areas of the house. So he went into my mom's bathroom and get all of that stuff out, and he would go downstairs, and we have like a kitchenette in our basement, and he would go through all of the drawers and cabinets down there, and then he'd go through the laundry room drawers and cabinets, and then the bathroom and the basement drawers and cabinets. Like, he was going pretty much anywhere he could and just dragging out a bunch of stuff. And we were just getting really tired of like every room we walked into there was stuff out on the floor. Basically that's what it boils down to. We were just tired of walking around the house always playing cleanup. So when we first got our corgis, we got this like really big kennel, like way bigger than anything they would ever need. But we got it so that we could have both of them in there, and they would still have room to like sprawl out, and they could have their food and water bowls in there, and like a little dog bed. Like, there was this huge crate that, again, they didn't need that big of a crate, but we were like, for the longest time, they were only in the crate because they chewed on like my mom's cabinet and stuff like that. So we're like, we don't need them chewing things up, puppy teeth and stuff. So we had this crate. We took this thing down a while ago, and so it's just been chilling in our basement. So we got that out, and Hudson goes into this crate like no problem. He's on a new anxiety med, which I will talk about a little more in just a minute, but he's on this new med, and so we mix it in with like a large spoonful of like wet food, and we mix it together, and so he sees it as like going into the kennel, if we're home, as a treat, because that means he gets the wet food, which he really likes. However, he always seems to know when he's going in so that we can leave. I normally give him his meds like a solid half an hour before I go, at least, normally closer to an hour, because it takes about 30 minutes for the meds to kick in. So I try to make sure that he has enough time to eat it, and hopefully so I can start seeing the meds kick in, because again, these kick in really fast. But he never eats it on the mornings that we're trying to leave. And yesterday, he didn't eat any of it before I had to leave. So he basically had been up in my room all night, sleeping, got up, went outside, did his business, came back inside. I put him in his crate. I didn't intend to keep him in his crate the whole morning until I left. But he's not allowed to leave the crate until he eats the food. And so he ended up being in the crate the entire morning while I'm like getting around and doing things, because he wasn't eating the food. And it was just, I felt bad, because then I had to leave and he still hadn't eaten his food. Well, I guess he was mad at me because he destroyed the dog bed that he had in there. My brother bought this like humongous dog bed for him that he never sleeps on outside of the kennel, but since it's the only thing in the kennel, like, he doesn't really have much of a choice on like if he lays on it or not. But he absolutely demolished the dog bed, and then destroyed the plastic food bowl that had been in there. And I had been waiting for him to destroy the bed, because the dog is notorious for destroying stuffed things. So I wasn't surprised that the bed got destroyed. I'm a little disappointed that he got that worked up. So yeah, I don't know when he actually ended up eating his food, because when I came home, the food was gone. Like there wasn't spilled contents of it like beneath all the stuffing from the bed or so. Like he'd eaten it at some point, but I don't know when, so I don't know how long the medicine had been in his system, when it had kicked in. But the meds he's on right now are severe anxiety meds, and again, they kick in really fast, so about 30 minutes after he takes it, and then he is like high as a kite. This dog is soaring. He's flying. And it makes me feel like he's really funny. I think, like, when he's on the meds, because he's just so out of it. Like my dad and I were playing fetch with the corgis last night, and he was trying to play, and he had had his meds, maybe an hour prior, so they were nearing full swing, and he was trying to play with us, and like we would throw it, and he'd still be looking at us like, where'd it go? And we're like, dude, we threw it, it's gone, like it went that way. And he's just looking at us like, where'd it go? It was, I don't know, it cracked me up, but at the same time I feel really bad that he is that high, basically, like he's that wasted, and he can, like, when it's really getting into his system, he goes like really docile, like almost scarily, is that even a word? He gets alarmingly docile, but the shelter doesn't want him on these meds for long. We're just hoping that it'll help with getting him properly crate trained, and as soon as I run out of the meds in the bottle, I have enough for about 20 days, and as soon as I run out of meds, I'm going to switch him back to the stuff he'd been on, in hopes that it will, like, he'll be able to handle the crate, but without needing to be, you know, totally zooted. So, like, right now, he's like flopped over on the bed. I feel bad laughing at him, because I'm like, I don't like that he's like that, he has to be like this, that he is this wasted, but at the same time, like, it's just kind of funny. Like, I don't know, I feel bad, but it's funny. So that's kind of what's going on there. We have yet to have a good day in the crate. Like, while we're gone, he's managed to bend it. We have to like zip tie it together to make sure he doesn't actually like pull it in on himself, or like get out and hurt himself. So I have like where the kennel like meets, like when you put it together, how it like where it connects. I have those parts zip tied and stuff like that. Just try and keep him safe. And I'm normally not gone for long periods of time, but that's going to change here in the next week or two. My schedule is about to get extremely busy, so like I'm normally gone for anywhere from about an hour to like 3.5 hours at a time. And you know, starting here in the next week or two, it's going to be, I'm gone pretty much all day. So yeah, I don't know what my parents' intentions are with the moose. Like, my parents both really like him, and like we're all getting really attached to him, and my parents are considering adopting him, but at the same time, like, we don't have male dogs, we don't have big dogs, and this dog is huge, and like we really just don't need another dog. But I don't know. My parents are they don't want him to go back and sit out in the kennel. So we're either basically crate training him so he can be adopted out, more than likely from our house, or we'll end up keeping him. I don't know. But it looks like we are reaching the screenshots here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you want to download this house, like, that's not a good picture. Feel free to do so. That's also not a good picture. There's too many columns. See, there is another one. Feel free to use the house, like, totally. Just make sure to, you know, give some credit. I'd appreciate it. Like, don't take it as your own, okay? Like, I'm rather proud of this house. I quite like how it turned out. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I have my gaming channel, my Twitter, both linked down in the description below if you want to check either of those things out. We're playing Rise of the Tomb Raider over on my gaming channel. It's a lot of fun. And hey, I made it through the entire voiceover without it cutting out like it was doing, so that's great. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.